And we're live. Good morning. Good morning, replay people. So it is blazing hot here in Florida. Apparently, there's a hurricane named Bertha aiming right for us. Maybe not. Who knows? Yeah, they're always trying to scare us about something. And what I need to talk with you about today, I'm not a fear monger. And I believe God when he says, do not be afraid. However, there is something going on that we have to be maybe not afraid, but concerned. And I'm going to wait till people come on before I really talk about it. But I've been researching and I see nothing but danger ahead should this technology persevere. And we need to talk about it because it affects every single one of us. Is that my girl, Renee? I love you, Renee. Hello. Good morning. I need my coffee. Hold on. Got my coffee. Ready to face the day. Good morning, Fred. Are those cornfields sunny and hot like they are here in Florida? You know, we don't really have that many cornfields here in Florida. We grow sugar cane. We grow oranges. We grow different fruits. But corn, I don't really see a lot of Florida corn. Anyway, isn't corn like a GMO vegetable? I don't know. I no longer trust corn. I just don't. I think it was taken over by the corporatocracy. Hello, Darla. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I hate to have to talk to you about this because the more I research about it, the more I'm like, oh, hell's no. I feel the same way that I did when I was working for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Well, I've always been a freelance writer. And even when I was writing for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, I was always freelance. But of course, they would give me assignments because I was a regular freelance contributor, just not owned by the newspaper's corporatocracy. See, here's the thing, just to clarify this. As a journalist, there's two ways to go about journalism. The corn is modified, exactly. Genetically modified, which is what GMO stands for. Anyway, as far as journalism goes, you can work for a newspaper and be on staff at the newspaper and get paid a salary from the newspaper. And you will get regular salary, probably won't be much more than 30, 40 grand a year. It's a pretty low paying job, even though you do have to have a degree and be rather intelligent in order to be a newspaper reporter. Anyway, it's a low paying job. And here's a problem with being on staff at any kind of newspaper or magazine. Everything you write is owned by the newspaper or the magazine that you are on staff for. So there is no taking great articles that you wrote and then selling them to another outlet. You can't do that because the outlet you're working for owns everything you do. So you're right. These days, there are no smart journalists. You're right about that. It's sad. It's more like they are all learning how to be propagandists. Because if you want to make a lot of money in journalism, then you basically have to sell your soul. And you have to agree to write things that aren't true. And you have to deceive people. That's what journalists do these days. And I'm not one of them, and I'm not wealthy. I always say that lies are expensive, but the truth is free. And that's why Rachel Maddow makes millions of dollars and I make virtually nothing. But you know what? I would rather be me than Rachel Maddow any day of the week, because when she meets her maker, she's going to have a lot of splaining to do. Anyway, the thing about being a freelance journalist as opposed to a staff writer, another thing, staff writers have to do the assignments that the editor gives them. As a freelance journalist, I could do whatever I wanted, and I could say no. Of course, then I might lose the client, but, and also I had editors behind me changing things, and not always in a good way. Anyway, the difference, I own everything that I write. So while the newspaper or the magazine would get first rights on my articles, they didn't own everything. So I could take that article, I could change it, I could edit it a little bit, and it belongs to me. So that's the difference. But if they're getting paid a lot of money, the estimator, they are lying. They are following what they are told to do. And I've never done that. And I've always worked for myself. This is the reason why I don't own a home anymore. I travel a lot. I go from place to place, but in the best of ways. I love my life. I love that I am a free spirit and a free person. And I'm not tied to anyone. I'm not tied to a mortgage. I'm not tied to, well, I guess my car, but I got to get around somehow. That's probably the thing that I have the most money sunk into, is my vehicle. I don't live in my vehicle, but I am van life without the van. I don't live in it, but I do live out of it. And there's a difference. Not that there's any problem with, or problem. It's not nice to live in your car. I don't think anyone wants to do that. But some people like to live in a van. I can't. I just think, first of all, I'm not mechanically inclined, and I think you have to know a lot about your vehicle if you're going to live in it. I think it opens up a whole can of worms that I'm just not prepared to deal with. So I am not doing this show in order to turn people on like your turkey people there. That's a turkey move. Do not talk to me like that, okay? I'm a serious journalist, and I want to talk to you about something that is very serious and affecting the United States and also affecting China, because we are in this battle with China. Hello, Henry Stephen. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. This is today's early morning beach report. It's 8:32. Do you know where your children are? And mine are all grown up. All right, I've got lots of notes here and things that I wanted to talk to you about this morning, because this is a we problem. And if you are not a billionaire or a millionaire with a business that you're protecting, then we need to talk. When is Xi coming to Washington? I don't know, but I do not respect Xi, or Xi Jinping, that is, or any leader of any country that actually farms people for their organs. Xi Jinping does that. He's a horrible person and a horrible leader, and he is literally holding people who believe in something called Falun Gong. It's like a religion, and it makes them really healthy. And he's imprisoned these people and uses them for organs for rich people all over the world. Yes, that's what the communists do. They don't care about people at all. They just care about money and power. And anyone who cares about money and power is a danger and a threat to the rest of us. I'm just saying. I am an American. I was born an American. Oh, it's super hot out here. But I also hold Swiss citizenship, because I did leave America. Back in the 90s, I lost faith in everything and everyone and thought the food was poisoned. And I know now the food is poisoned, but I tried. So if they only care about money, then we have to hit them in their wallets. Because there is no way to make people who only care about money care about civilization or the rest of us. Okay, now I'm going to go into my notes. Remember the story of Chicken Little, where he'd run around screaming, "The sky is falling, the sky is falling." But it turned out it was really just like an acorn off a tree or something like that. Well, the sky is falling. And thank you, Coco. People have been warning for years that industry was destroying the planet, and now we know that it's true. In fact, there is something even bigger unfolding. And the only way we can stop it is if we all work together. Hey, Balmu, but you are commenting now, so hello. Yes, the estimator, they should start caring about what God is saying. And that's something else I want to talk to you about today. Let's see what God has to say in the Bible about technology. Maybe it didn't exist a couple thousand years ago. However, God invented it, of course, because he made everything. Another thing that's the scourge of our generation, our civilization, trolls. I don't, oh, thank you. Thank you for handling that. We don't put up with trolls on the Beach Report. Your plans of world domination will be assisted by your loyal Yowie. Thank you, Random. I do have plans of world domination. You're not wrong about that. The end times, we cannot stop it because he has already said it, so it will come to pass. Well, you may well be right about that. You may well be right. Thank you for all the flowers, but they're not necessary. So shout out to my mods for keeping the chat safe. Please be careful before you start typing because you can get kicked off. When my mods get mad, they get mad and they will end you in a minute. And I don't really have any control over that anymore because I gave them the control. There's Andy. How you doing? My mods are some of the best, I think, on YouTube because we all care about what goes on in my chat sessions. And people who talk nasty to me or any of my Beach Report family members will be removed. So think before you chat. Yes, you're right. There is no knowing when anything, estimator. You're so right, because you can't know the date and the time of your own death. You can't know the date and the time of someone else's death, even though doctors will often say things to you like, you have 6 months to live. I really hate when they do that, because nobody can know. Now, here's a fact. They're building these data centers today, and they consume enormous amounts of land, water, and energy. Now, do you remember when all like Greenpeace and all these environmental organizations came out and they're screaming about climate change this and climate change that, and oh, you're destroying the world with your electricity, or what was it that they're even going after for climate change? Carbon footprint, that's it. Carbon footprint. That's what they cared about. Do you hear them talking about data centers? Do you hear them talking about the fact that a data center uses up more, wait, what is this? I have it right here. Some data centers draw more power than entire towns. One data center. And there's noise and vibrations because they have to cool these data centers. And this is all documented in zoning reports and environmental filings. And the people who live in a neighborhood where a data center is nearby, oh, they feel it. They hear it, they feel the vibrations, and it disturbs them. And what about all the animals? What about the wild animals who live in the area around there? You think they're not disturbed? I think everybody is disturbed by these AI data centers. I particularly have grown to detest AI because I think it is all about control. The climate crisis was used by politicians to mandate the purchase of Chinese green tech. Baomu knows, and this is true. Our so-called leaders have been leading us to the path of destruction. And then they want to treat you like a bad person because you want to live free, but they think it's okay to tell me how to live. No, thank you, the estimator. You are so right. And, you know, I don't own any land. I don't want to own land. because I think it's wrong. I think that the land should belong to all of us. And even if you buy a house and you think you own the land, you never really do, because they're going to tax you out of it. You have to pay and pay and pay. And who decided that the government owns your land? Who decided that they're allowed to take fresh water out of a stream, bottle it in plastic, and sell it back to you, telling you this is pure fresh water in a plastic bottle? You know, the plastic industry has also destroyed us, but that's another story for another time. Right now, I want to focus on these data centers because we have to control this. The companies are not going to control this. It is up to you and me. And we have to take the matters into our own hands. Random, I don't know what you're talking about, a butt chicken. Keep it clean, Random. You know, you got to worry about my mods. They'll get you. They'll silence you. And that's okay with me. We've had a talk, me and my mods. And I'm no longer in control of that situation. Even if I like you and I want you to stay on, or even if you're a troll and I want to make fun of you, some of my mods are like, nope, gone. And I let them do that. We all had a talk and we all decided that if the mods don't like what's being said, doesn't matter what I want. It's a community effort. So, and if you want to be a mod, you must be a member of the Beach Report. Estimator lives in a state that allows you to file homestead once you are 65 and never pay property taxes again. What state is that? Is it Florida? It might be. I don't know. Please tell us. Because that seems fair. Don't get Darla mad. She's one of the queen moderators, and I trust her the most. We file homestead now, but it only takes a few dollars off. It's disgusting. I'd like to know what happened to the climate activists who said every drop of water and every acre of land matters. Because there is no protesting against tech companies that build industrial scale facilities that strain local water supplies, overload electrical grids, and reshape entire regions. The only ones yelling about it are the neighbors who live by the data centers. They are basically being shut down and shut up when they try to talk about it. Oh, a teenage word game, butt chicken. I've never heard of butt chicken, Random. But you got to watch it here. If Darla doesn't want to hear about butt chicken, then it's not going to happen. Oh, Mississippi, really? That's interesting. I did not know that. I've driven through Mississippi, and I've got to tell you, I wasn't that impressed with the state. Seemed a little unkempt, just saying. All right. So why is the narrative shifted? I'll tell you exactly why. Because the funding has shifted. All the same groups that were fighting like pipelines and, oh no, they're going to destroy ecosystems, birds won't like it, some insect is going to be destroyed, I don't know, whatever. And now they're quiet. While the digital infrastructure grows faster than anything we have ever built. They build the data centers even when the community unanimously votes against them, which also makes me wonder, who are these elected officials going against what their community wants because they're elected? What the hell is that about? Random is telling the truth. It is a word game. I just looked it up. All right, darling. Good job. We never thought that Random wasn't telling the truth. We don't always understand your colloquialisms, Random. So thank you for teaching us about butt chicken. Now we know. All right, there is a 25% chance AI will end civilization, according to Liquor Vinny. I think it's even higher, honestly, Vinny. It is so serious that if we don't get a hold of this immediately, we're done. We're done. You take away our land, you take away our water, and we are done as a civilization. There is just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I have been researching this using AI, which has proven to me that the people programming AI definitely don't want you to know the truth. I can't get anywhere with AI. They do tell me the truth about the data centers, but at the same time, it's all like, well, this could be a problem. Not could be, it is a problem. It is already a problem. And if it doesn't end society, it will separate people from their humanity. Balmu is right about that too. It has all the earmarkings of the greatest evil we have ever faced in our lifetimes. And I know I have tremendous faith in the Lord, and I want him to take care of this. But I know that also I have a responsibility. And my responsibility right now as a real journalist, that's right, I am one of the real last journalists of our generation, of all of society. I went to journalism school and I was taught how to tell people the truth. That's all. They told me you don't take bribes, you don't take gifts, you don't make a lot of money. You'll never make a lot of money in this industry because it's a truth-telling industry. And those who tell the truth not only do not make a lot of money, but we also get shut down, we get censored, we get told to shut up constantly. Try to remember you don't understand a word I'm saying, but my Yowie heart is pure. If you can see past all the fur, you'll see it. We see your Yowie heart, Random. We're good with it. We're good with that. Darla knows. But stick with the topic. Again, you got to deal with Darla. I'm out. I'm doing my show, and Darla, bless her heart, is actually taking her time up to deal with the moderation, which isn't easy because you see some of the most disgusting comments you'll ever see in your life on my show. And I thank you, Darla, for putting yourself through that. You are such a dear, loyal, wonderful friend. Hello, David Mayfield. And of course, we love you, Renee Letourneau. Renee, by the way, has been following me probably for more than 10 years. Am I right, Renee? I think you are one of my very first followers, and I love you to pieces. You know that cloud they talk about? Nothing virtual about that. The cloud is real. It might not be up there and it might not look like a cloud, but it is a real danger to our whole society. Wait, in my little 2 cents worth, Thomas says, this is a tree not worth barking up. AI is controlled by big money, the richest of the rich. I hear that, Thomas, and most people shy away from situations like this. But I can't. It's my job as an actual journalist to tell you not just what is occurring, but how you can take control of it. Because if you don't take control of it, it will take control of you if it hasn't already. Good morning, animals. So good to see you. Sorry, I am sweating in the Florida heat right now. Hello, Stephs. Oh, you guys, please don't call me things like superior white goddess. That is, just stop. That's a lot of weirdness. The family-friendly friends of Nestle, want all the water on the planet and sell it back to us. Oh, you are so right about Nestle, Random. Nestle is one of the worst companies in the world. I know you say it out of respect. I'm just letting you know that I don't want to be known like that, okay? And I'm not here trying to woo anyone and make you think I'm gonna be your next girlfriend or anything like that. I absolutely am not. I am here on your YouTube station on the Beach Report, and I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help all of humanity. I don't care about wealth. I don't care about anything other than being that light in the darkness. And that's what God wants me to do, and that's what I am doing. Oh boy, but it's super hot out here. I might have to go in the house. I'm trying to brave it because I know I love the sound of the water, and I got to show you guys. It's gorgeous here. It's always gorgeous. Even when it's not great weather, it's gorgeous. We got our blue skies. Okay, thanks, Steph. Bless you too. I do appreciate your love and devotion. Absolutely. I'd be crazy if I said, I don't like it when people are complimentary or nice to me. I do. I love it. Absolutely. I'm just saying I don't want anyone to worship me or think things about me that simply are not true or going to happen. So just saying. I really am here to give you information. And I'm not a material girl. I'm a spiritual girl. All right, I'm going to first give you some facts, and then we'll talk about what we can do to fix it. Because we have to fix it. You can't just sit back and go, oh, well, what can we do? Nothing. I don't believe in that. Random has seen the worst of the worst comments. Sometimes I have to make them. You do an awesome job, mate. I will be a good Yowie here. Thank you, Random. As long as you know your parameters, we're all good. White Horse has a bow translates simplest fabric mask C19. Yeah, I believe all roads lead back to bioweapon viruses and AI. All right, Steph. I don't look at people's skin color. I really don't care what color your skin is. Here's what I care about. Are you an asshole? Because if you're an asshole, you can leave now. But if you're not an asshole, then I would like you to stick around and become part of the Beach Report family. That's all. It's very simple. Doesn't matter what you look like. Doesn't matter where you live. If you're not an asshole, come on in. And if you are, you will show us that you are. And one of my mods, probably Darla, or New York Debs, or Marky Mark, or Betty Peppers, they'll kick you off. Yes, Jesus loves us, Steph. You're so right. But try not to see people in terms of the color of their skin. It's really immaterial and causes the destruction of our society. So let's all not talk about black, white, nobody cares, okay? On the Beach Report, you're either an asshole or you're not. You guys crack me up. Okay, let's talk about the states currently that are most affected by data center expansion. Now, the states I'm about to read on this list have the largest concentration of hyperscale data centers, the highest resource strain, and the most aggressive plans for expansion. Let's start with the biggie. That would be Virginia. Virginia is currently the largest data center hub in the world. Massive electricity demand and a lot of grid strain. So who here lives in Virginia or knows anything about this problem in Virginia? I travel through there, and so I'm not affected. But if you live in Virginia, I will bet you dollars to donuts you are not very happy with your elected officials at the moment because they seem to be completely corrupt. I am a mod on other channels, but I am old school. I use my word swords to destroy trolls. It's fun. I don't have to do that here because, you girl. Well, Random, feel free to destroy the other trolls if you'd like. I like that you do that, and that's okay. And if you would mind, I'd love to have you join my membership group, and then you can be a mod too and destroy the trolls. Cumberland County, is that in Virginia? Because there's a Cumberland County in Pennsylvania too. Let me know. But I'm thinking I was calling for my Virginia people. So Cumberland Blues, you got that Cumberland Blues. Oh my gosh, that's Virginia, right? I'm just guessing here. Hey, Nicole. All right, do you live in Arizona? Arizona is being faced with a lot of AI data centers causing severe water stress. I mean, give me a break. Arizona is already a desert state, and you're going to take away the water there? Now that's insane. Like, really insane. Data centers compete with the residential supplies of water. Are you kidding me? And did you know that when a data center is done using up your water, then they have to do something with the water that they've used because it's now contaminated and they have to discard it. Thomas says someone needs to address the majority of farms that have been bought by billionaires. We are down to 6 companies that control the entire beef and chicken industry, the very food we need. And you're so right about that too. I am at this moment not buying chicken anymore because what I've learned is that they chemically treat, shall we say, the chicken, like put it in a vat of chemicals, like chlorine and stuff like that. And the chickens are like full of antibiotics and bred so quickly to grow so quickly. They don't have any nutritional content in them. Darla is quicker than me and I'm faster than lightning. I know, Darla's the best, isn't she? You guys, Darla has been such a blessing in my life. You have no idea. She just came onto the Beach Report one day, and now she's like an integral part. You know, that's what happens on my Beach Report, actually. My followers often turn into my best friends, so I'm incredibly blessed like that. It's like they come on the show, they look at me, and they're like, that girl, I need to be friends with her. And if you're very cool, I will be friends with you. Happy to see you too. Uncle Andy says Whole Foods is a brand called Bell and Evans, all natural, chef's choice for poultry. Thank you for that. I also think that it behooves us all to start supporting our local farms and go to the farmers markets. I think every town, at least one day a week, opens up the town center to local farmers for farmer markets. You need to do that. I'm hooked on you too, Darla. Thank you, Brazil. Yes, I do sport natural hair. I'm wearing lipstick, no other makeup. I don't believe in makeup. I don't believe in dyeing your hair. I don't believe in a lot of the fakery that we are subjected to in this world. So you see me, I'm a natural woman. But I like to wear lipstick because Mama always said, girl, it brightens your face. So I'm going to do that. And by the way, the lipstick that I wear is organic and I can eat it, and it's not from China. I believe this is from a company, let me see, I think I have it right here. This one is a company called, you can see I use it all the time, it's called Sabella. Actually, that's the brand, but the company's called Melaleuca. And it is a subscription-only company where you have to buy something every month from them. So I don't do that. I can't afford it. But my sister does it. So if I need anything, I get it from her. When you type your text disappears, well, it didn't there. I don't know. I see. Sometimes it will change your words. That's AI for you. Hey, Carol. Hello, how is Canada doing? We're always concerned about you up in Canada. We could unite America on food. AI ain't just feeling it. See, the power companies love them. They require a tremendous amount of energy. Data centers are popping up as close to generating. And this is what my show is about today. I am ringing the danger bell. I'm not afraid because I believe that we can take control of this. But we have to take control of it. We cannot just sit by and let apathy stop us from saving our lives. Good morning, CK. And it is a matter of life versus no more life. It's real. And I'm doing this for a reason. All right, Virginia and Arizona. 2 places where the local officials care more about money than they do about the people. Then we've got Iowa. Iowa. I always thought about Iowa as, cornfields and farmland, but now major AI center build-outs. Major. That's what they see. They see lots of farmland, lots of open spaces, and they're like, let's put a data center there. They don't contaminate the water. No, I don't think that's true, Random. From what I've researched, they absolutely do contaminate the water. And then the way they get rid of the contaminated water is by injecting it into the earth or steaming it into the atmosphere. There are a bunch of ways of getting rid of contaminated water, but here's the thing about water. You can't destroy water. It's always going to come back in some form. And if you contaminate one town with bad water, that will spread like wildfire. And it might not spread today or tomorrow, might take a little bit of time, but that's why they do it, because it's a slow burn. You hear about things that, oh, look, a fire over there, put out that fire, or you see, I don't know, any level of pollution, effluent running into a stream, and you see the dead fish, and you think, we can stop that, but it just goes on and on and on. Pastor, really? Who makes my heart beat like thunder? Who makes my temperature rise? Who makes me tremble with wonderful rapture? Darla's like, I'm not having any of that. Darla says no. Yeah, that's kind of weird for a pastor to say. Okay, then we have Texas. Well, we know Texas is a very big state with a lot of wide open spaces. And right now, very rapid expansion of AI centers and heavy energy consumption. Renee says, that's why I buy from people who raise chickens. Agreed. Let's see, Nicole looked it up, and it says a bug or a glitch in the live stream, but there isn't a lot of people here, so it's got to be a bug. Well, that's disturbing. I don't know. I'm seeing your comments, so not really sure. I don't watch movies at all, Tenebris, because I'm very grounded in reality, and I think anything that comes out of Hollywood, I mean, they're telling you what they're going to do to us. I don't like it. There are some good movies where they focus on God and they focus on exposing the truth, but a movie that is pure fiction, I'm so not interested. And Odyssey, that's got to be fiction. I don't know. I'm not a fiction girl. I'm not a sports girl. I'm a journalist. I've always been a journalist. The epic poem by Homer. Oh, the Iliad and the Odyssey. Oh, now that is very interesting. Okay, I'm going to reframe that. That sounds epic, actually. Nicole doesn't watch movies either. They make you feel down about yourself, but self-confidence is key. Self-confidence is actually everything, because if you don't like yourself, who else will like you? Think about it. I know there are people who are absolutely down on themselves, and when you are just hating yourself, you might be nasty to other people too. Good morning, Marky Mark. Thomas's son just showed me older centers and new centers are going to systems that reuse the water, so it sounds like they are fixing the problem. I'm not trusting them because of the shovel. They show no respect for historical accuracy. I don't watch movies, so I didn't know there was an obsession movie. It's just used for evaporative cooling. The water totally evaporates, so they just use lots of water. It's actually green because the evaporated water comes back as rain, but not much. Okay, well, riddle me this. When you live near a data center, you damn well know it. You hear a noise, you feel a vibration, there's a hum that never stops, and your peace is destroyed. So I still don't believe that the water isn't contaminated. I think if they tell you it's not, it is anyway. Thank you, Ray. I'm glad you're here. Darla hates movies unless it's in my interest and looks interesting. Yeah, Darla's like me. No TVs here. I am the TV that here. Yeah, I don't watch TV. I want to be the TV. In Georgia, there are major corporate campuses that cause so much noise and vibration that everyone who lives around them complain about it. Sorry, I gotta do something about the heat. I might have to go in the house. I don't know. What do you guys think? It's hard for me to be out here, but I love the sound of the water and the just being outside just always makes me so happy. Random says, I'm absolutely against data centers at all. I just don't like misinformation. But I don't think I'm giving misinformation, Random. I know you're thinking that the water's not contaminated, but I'm still thinking that it is. Yes, Ray, you have found your Beach Report family. I do hope that you will like and subscribe because we need people like you on the Beach Report, Ray. I am absolutely looking for like-minded individuals who are not trolls and who actually care about this world. Okay, so I'm taking it in the house. Oh, wait, I gotta get my coffee, my Bible. Hold on, you guys. Just getting set up here in the air conditioning because I can. I was actually watching a video about this guy who has been living in Europe for the past year, and he's like, I can't take it anymore. They don't have air conditioning. They do not. They don't use ice. They do not. And when it's super hot outside and you don't use air conditioning or ice, boy, what kind of a life do you have? I know. I lived in Switzerland for 10 years, and the struggle is real. Yes. Yes, the Bible. We're always consulting the Bible for everything all the time. Oh, it's so much nicer in here. Oh my goodness, I'm not gonna have to blot myself off anymore. And I can keep my hair. Well, it's like wearing a coat all the time. Whew, feels so much better. I don't know how you do it, Darla, not having air conditioning. Well, I do know how you do it because when my husband was dying, we lived on a farm in the middle of Florida by Lake Okeechobee. And we had some like a window air conditioner, and we had one in the bedroom, but in general, there was basically no air conditioning. And I used to walk around feeling like I was literally melting. So I so appreciate air conditioning. I don't know if I could live without it anymore. Anyway, back to this list of states that are the worst with data centers. Okay, so we have already gone through Virginia, Arizona, Iowa, Texas, Georgia, and how about Utah? Another desert climate that uses water-intensive cooling. See, this is the part that really gets me, is that these desert areas that typically don't have a lot of water, then why are you using it to cool data centers? Random is a fully qualified metal fabrication engineer. Trust me, I know the stuff. I'm researching. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm trying to figure it out too, Random. And if you do actually have an expert mentality on this one and you know what you're talking about, I welcome you. And if I'm wrong, I will say that I'm wrong. Absolutely. But research told me that the water does get contaminated. And Random says it doesn't. So I hope you're right, Random. I really do. I want you to be right. Laker says, when I lived in Puerto Rico, I never turned on the AC. But that's because it's like beachy. You know, when you live in a beach area, you don't always need the AC if you're by the ocean because there's always a nice breeze. But I mean, I'm pretty close to the beach right now, but I'm inland, and I'll tell you, it's boiling hot out there. Boiling hot. Okay, so anyway, in Utah, a desert climate, they're using up water. And that's like, where are you getting the water from? I mean, people need the water too. So even constant ocean breeze, I knew that, liquor Benny. If you are living in a climate where there isn't a lot of water and you need water daily because we're humans and we need water, but now the data center is competing with your need for water. So even if the water's not contaminated, it's in high demand in places like Utah and Arizona, where you pay a pretty penny. California, remember the California fires, and they wouldn't let them fight them with water, saying they needed the water so badly? So ridiculous. So Americans need permits for a garden shed, months of delays, but a data center next to a residential, yeah, gets approved overnight. Yeah, exactly, right. And we have to do something about it. This is on us. We have elected people who simply don't care about us and just want to have power. I mean, what else could it be? Nicole, I have this motivation app and I want to share one. It's amazing. Well, if you need an app to be motivated and it helps you, I think that's good. But at the same time, I try to live my life, even though, yes, I do this YouTube show, but I don't want to be controlled by apps, by AI, by machines who, quite frankly, not who, but what, don't care about humans. I care such a great deal about my fellow humans. There is one in Atlanta right across the street from Pepsi plant. Their security is as tough as a military base. 20-foot metal fence all the way around. Actually, the landscaping is totally awesome. Wow. Vinny says, I think these data centers have something to do with UAPs flying around. They certainly do make it, like we don't know everything. And data centers are new. So we really don't know what the whole reason is for them. Random says, I'm no super genius, but I thought I was wrong once, but it turns out I was mistaken. What about the water? Tell us. We need to know. Most of the building is underground. Well, and that can hurt infrastructure. You know, if they do data centers and they build them underground here in Florida, that's really bad news, Bears. Because what happens when you dig a hole by the beach? It collapses. And Florida is actually based on very porous rock. And there are underground caves everywhere. And we have holes collapse. Like, I'll never forget this story. Happened about 10 years ago. It happened in Ocala, Florida. My sister was living there at the time. So there was this guy, and he decided to move into the house with his brother's family. His brother and his sister-in-law, they had a daughter, at least one child, and they invited the brother to come and live with them for whatever reason. And they gave up the daughter's room so the brother could stay with the family. Now, he just moved in. He's sleeping in his bed. All of a sudden, he's gone. The whole bedroom caved in and swallowed him up. And no one ever even found the body. Can you imagine? And can you imagine this family whose daughter was sleeping in that bedroom until they invited the brother to come live with them? That's a lot, isn't it? That is crazy. Hi, Tommy. 3 types of people in your life who helped you in difficult times, who left you in difficult times, who put you in difficult times. I don't know. That sounds to me like we're blaming other people for our issues. I think you have to take control of everything for yourself. Thank you, Bag Talk. I'm glad you're here. I do have a problem that had affected a lot of geniuses and great thinkers have had. I bet you have the same problem. What's the problem, Random? That was a play on words. I thought I was wrong once, but I was mistaken. I wasn't wrong. Oh, you yowies! You got a lot of word games going on there, don't you? But yeah, it's a real story. You can look it up for yourself, Nicole. Can you imagine? And how that family felt? You know, that they lost, the little girl lost her uncle, but they would have lost the little girl if she still lived there or was sleeping in that room. It blows my mind. How God works, it blows my mind. Okay, we're back to the list of states that are forcing data centers on their residents. Sorry, got a little cough going on. Not a real cough, just like a thing in my throat. All right, anyway. Well, Jill, I can only vote. I can yell and say no at a rally, but at the end of the day, I can't control it, but I can and will control this 249 acres that I'm on. Now, that right there is your control, Thomas. And you can control votes. You can control showing up at your local town meetings. Well, we're going to talk about that in a minute because I don't want to put out a problem and not have a solution. I've researched the solution and I will give it to you in a minute. But first, let's look at the rest of the states that are currently forcing AI data centers on residents. Okay, so let's see, we'll go through it again. Virginia, Arizona, Iowa, Texas, Georgia, Utah, Oregon. Now, Oregon, they are pushing back locally. The problem with the AI data centers there is that they are using a lot of electricity. Random says, absolutely taking all the aquifers, water, the ground will start collapsing everywhere. And guess what? It will be random. You're so right. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you, Free Wolf. Yes, please, by the way, check out my website, jillbooks.com. I am an author, an editor, and a book publisher. So that's how I make money. I'm here on YouTube, and if you like this show and you want me to keep going, please support it. I am supported by my very loyal followers who over the past more than 10 years have been part of my Beach Report family. And yes, this is a family. I was adopted as a baby, so I make everybody be my family. It's like, I don't belong anywhere. I belong everywhere. Trump 28. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I do have some concerns about Trump and AI. I don't know if he's getting the true story on that, and I hope that he cares. We are family. I got all my sisters and brothers and me. Okay, let's move on to Nevada, another state where water is scarce, but they're putting AI data centers in anyway because there's a lot of land there. It's called a desert. They're hiding the truth. Vinny knows it's true. Our problem is that we go crazy trying to show people what is right in front of their faces and they just can't or refuse to see it. And you know what happens to the messenger. Yeah, I know. I am always getting treated badly as the messenger. But guess what? I'm never going to stop. I'm never going to shut up. I'm just going to keep telling the truth. And you can't stop me because I don't care about money. You can't stop me because I'm not afraid of anything or anyone. You can't stop me because I believe very much in what I'm doing. So you can say all the nasty things you want about me, but you're never going to stop me because there are enough people out there who follow me, who trust me, who know why I do what I do, and I do it for you. So anyone that comes on the show and wants to shut me up, and sometimes they even say, shut up. I'm like, yeah, it's my show. Why don't you just go away? Not afraid of anybody. You know, when you don't have anything to lose, then you are dangerous. I'm not saying I'm dangerous, but I'm just not motivated by a lot of things that other people are motivated by. And, you know, maybe not believing in money and not caring about it keeps me, I'm not going to say poor because I'm not poor. I'm actually one of the wealthiest people that I know simply because I'm a free person and it's not about money. What's happening there, Random? Oh, Jasmine is here. Hi, how you doing, my friend? You know, you haven't been on the beach doing a show in a while. I was just on the beach yesterday, no, the day before. No, was it yesterday? No, it was the day before. But you know, it's very hot on the beach, and one of the problems with the beach today is that there's a lot of seaweed on the eastern seaboard, on the beaches in Fort Lauderdale, and it's not nice. Another problem with doing the beach report when it's sunny is my phone is going to get too hot, and I'll get kicked off, or my phone will kick me off. So there's issues like that. We do what we can. Anyway, you can still see the water. I'm always on the water. There you go. That's the intercoastal behind the swimming pool. Very beautiful here. But beach life is the only life for me. They have cooling packs for your phone. I know. Actually, Jamie Crow showed me one, and I need to get a cooling pack for my phone. It's always something. Hello, Bendel. Boating is wonderful. Hello, Andrew. Yeah, I need to get a cooling pack. You know, gosh, everything, it's like always spending money on stuff here, stuff there. And I travel all the time. I can't handle a lot of stuff, but still I have a lot of stuff. It's pretty crazy. Hey, Master, I'm glad you're here, but your name is kind of weird. I'm not going to say it. AB is in the house. AB is new, but a very integral part of the Beach Report family now. AB, you so belong here. That was the censored, non-censored statement. I had to restrain myself for you. It was hard. I hope you appreciate it, Darla. All random. We do. We appreciate your efforts. Vinny says, I'm going to buy a boat when I get back to Puerto Rico. That sounds like a master plan. Okay, I got to get through this list though. Okay, we did Nevada. How about Ohio? Large new AI focused facilities in Ohio. Have you ever driven through Ohio? Well, I went to college there, Athens, Ohio, Scripps School of Journalism. Don't you know? But the drive to Ohio from Pittsburgh, boring. So much open land, so many fields. Now they're full of AI data centers. Did they block your comment, Thomas? I hate when they do that. The boat's going to cost more than the house. Yeah, that's the way it goes. That is the way it goes. You know what they say about a boat? You buy it, it's the best day of your life. And you sell it, it's also the best day of your life. Good morning, Frank. So, the last one I'm going to read here, and then I'm going to get into Florida. North Carolina has a long-standing hub with growing environmental concerns. So if you live in any of these states, please let me know. But here's the fact about Florida. Florida wasn't always a major hub of data centers. It was states like Virginia, Arizona, Texas, and Iowa. Those were the biggies. But now Florida is in a rapid build-out phase, which really concerns me because Florida is such a delicate state. And we were talking earlier about the fact that the ground here is very porous and it can collapse at any time. Like we were talking about that story with the bedroom collapsing and the man just gone. You don't have to be on the beach digging a hole to fall into a sinkhole. Sinkholes happen. Even sinkholes happen when I lived in Pittsburgh. I remember there was I think it was a massage parlor, and the cars in front of the massage parlor disappeared into a sinkhole. I'm thinking that could have been God. Not sure. But anyway, my son said, I'm heavily invested in the varied tech companies pushing AI. That's part of my retirement money. Oh boy is right, Thomas. Oh boy. It's not. Why do people think it's my birthday? It's not my birthday. That's the water recirculating through the system. It's part of the process, but of course they will spin it to make them sound like Mother Earth herself. Yeah. Yeah, AB knows you're a Pennsylvania dude. Yeah, there's lots of sinkholes in Pennsylvania and actually all over the country because, we are not built on a solid foundation. Oh, Lone Wolf is in the house. Hi, Lone Wolf. Data centers are using all of our clean water and they need the water to constantly keep the data centers from overheating. They are not good. And let's think about that too. A factory, data center, whatever we want to call it, that has this problem of overheating tells me that there's a fire issue with the data centers. So another warning. I remember that sinkhole in Pittsburgh, says Darla. Yeah, how could you forget it? Power. They must have tremendous power. Look at the early centers not far from power plants. True. Bag Talk says China duplicated American AI and is giving it away for free. The bubble is going to burst. Save water and a lot of it. Did you know there's more data centers in America than there are in China? The Chinese have sparked off this AI data center race with American companies believing that if we don't do it first, if we don't do it better, then they will. I hate that type of thinking. It reminds me of George Soros, who started working with the Nazis during World War II when they came into his village in Hungary. And instead of saying, hell no, you've got to go, he said, how can I help you? And they hired him to take the weapons away from all of his friends and relatives because he believed that if he didn't do it, somebody else would. Yeah, that's George Soros. Random says sinkholes are natural as well. Not many people realize how not stable underneath us the earth is at all times. Facts right there. For radiators. Yes. I wish that you guys would listen to the things I'm saying and then talk nonstop about it and go out into your communities where you have elected officials and town halls and talk to them. Hi, Susan. Ooh, so good to see you. Almost knocked my camera down. Okay. So Florida is now becoming one of these top tier places for data centers, which, like I said, scares the bejesus out of me because when you dig into the earth, and from what some people are saying here, the data centers are built underground. You can't do that in Florida. You will disturb so much ecosystem, water, land. Hollow earth is a real thing as well as the digging and cracking. Did I say that right? Yeah, you did, Bag Talk. Yeah, you did. Hello, Andrea. I'm so glad. Whenever I see Andrea Butterfly, I just have to smile. How are you, my sister in Christ? I pray Psalms 91 over you and all your friends, family, and coworkers, and everyone on this live. Also, in Jesus' mighty name, I pray it. Amen. So good to see you, Andrea Butterfly. Hi, Bill Clancy. Okay, so let's talk about the Florida data centers. Oh, and I was talking about the cloud too. So did you know the cloud is a physical, resource-intensive thing? It is not just it's a nice little cloud in the sky. It's actually expanding aggressively across Florida. There's a lot of limestone in Florida. Bill knows underground springs dissolve limestone, and that's why Florida has a lot of sinkholes. Are you really going to start building AI centers on that? My son was leaving to go back to Atlanta. He said, Dad, it's the future, and closed his door. I'm so sad, but he has to go home. Oh, you'll miss your boy. Yes, and Seeding the Sky, also Bag Talk. Oh, man. I'm so glad that you guys are here because if we don't talk about this and we don't talk about it to people who don't know about it and don't understand, they're not going to stop. Okay. I looked up ways to fight because we have to fight. Yeah, thank you, Bag Talk. I'm glad you're here. Please like and subscribe. Andrew, you can come hang out with me on the Beach Report anytime. I'm on usually twice a day on YouTube, so you are welcome to join us. Okay, when it comes to something you don't like in your community, you have to go local. It can't be abstract. You have to be specific. You have to target specific data centers. You have to target specific companies, specific sales. Find out who owns these data center facilities. Find out what permits were granted, who approved them, and how much water do they use. I know it's a lot of research, it's a lot of work, but it's absolutely worth it. Yeah, the cats in the cradle stuff. Oh, cats in the cradle and the silver moon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then. Son, we're gonna have a good time then. Yeah, that's a great song about never taking people for granted. Anyway, they are building most of these data centers where the poor people live. Of course, because poor people are not perceived as having any power whatsoever, and you can just do what you want with them. However, poor people need to show up at the meetings where they plan the data centers. So, and these meetings are always advertised, and people can always go to any of these meetings. And I am putting this user in timeout for 24 hours. Don't talk to me like that, okay? Darla did the same. Thank you, Darla. Planning board meetings, zoning hearings, environmental review sessions. They're all advertised, and you do need to show up. And when you show up, you can talk. Did you know that every town meeting has a certain designated time for citizens to stand up and say what they think? Doesn't mean that the people you elected are going to listen to you, but you do have to make your feelings known. And then it's public. How do I know this? Because I was a journalist, reporter, newspaper reporter for nearly 20 years. And I found that there weren't many people going to meetings that they should have been going to. And that was okay because I went to the meetings and I told people what they needed to know. But I couldn't do that anymore. I can't do it anymore. I don't work for the newspaper. I could go to these meetings, but for me at this point, that's a lesson in futility. And I'm going to just be mad. It's not that I haven't gone to these meetings recently. You might have seen me just a few months ago. I went to a Butler County Commissioner meeting, and yeah, in some ways there were good things, but there were a lot of bad things too. Oh, see you later, Thomas. I'm glad you're here, Sean. Please like and subscribe. Did you know I'm going to be hitting 16,000 subscribers very soon, but that's up to you, and only you can help me. So please tell your friends about the Beach Report and do your part by liking and sharing. Random says, when I left on my very first solo car drive, as I reached down to crank the stereo up, my eyes went past my rear view to see Mom in the driveway watching, crying. Oh man. Closed mouth, don't get fed. Thank you, AB. Okay, so when you go to these meetings, what you need to know, what you need to demand are noise studies, water impact studies, health impact assessments, and public disclosure. You can't be abstract in your outrage. You have to put the pressure on your local officials. That is the most important thing that you can do. I don't know. I think sometimes maybe I should run for office. I don't want to, though. I really don't. Being a politician is not my thing. I'm a journalist. And I think that I am better serving my constituents, if you will, through journalism. I'm glad you're here, Sean. Cursing and what the Bible says about cursing. Okay. I don't know. We're not talking about that right now. So, Triple Gem, hello. I am a worker of a data center, and we will take over the land to make Facebook AI. Ooh, thank you for telling us the truth, Triple Gem. Do tell us more about what it's like to work in a data center. Does the noise and the vibration affect you as a person? Are you a person? Or are you an AI? Um, and you've noticed over the last few years how Facebook has changed because of AI. First of all, Facebook began randomly blocking people like me. They called me an adult sexual exploiter. The hell? Is it because of my cleavage? I don't know. They wouldn't tell me why they were calling me an adult sexual exploiter, but it was so serious that they actually hid me on Facebook for 2 years, demonetized me, hid me. Nobody could find me. If I was standing right next to you and I said, "Hey, look up the Beach Report on Facebook," you couldn't find it. That's a fact. Now, all of a sudden, President Trump is back in town, and I am once again allowed to operate on Facebook. My daughter is licensed age. The circle of life is so beautiful. Yes, indeed, it is. Yeah, triple. We want to know more. Do tell us. Facebook isn't crazy. Facebook is controlling people. Facebook is controlling a narrative. All right, here's something else you can do if you live near a data center or a proposed data center. You have to do something about it. You have to. Because annoyed neighbors are an actual voting block, a visible voting block. So if you do live in a town and you found out that they want to put a data center near you, you need to get names, get emails. If you have to knock on doors, you have to get people to be angry about this. You have to get petitions going. Thank you, Kim. You can do this yourself. If you organize locally, you can start at your local library. You can start at a local coffee shop, whatever, your kitchen table. Invite your neighbors and make a plan. I know people don't really want to talk to each other anymore, but that is by design. And maybe if you, oh, Shauna's an Aussie too. I have a lot of followers in Australia. Actually, my favorite one, where is she when you need her? I call her, oh my gosh, no, I'm losing her name. It'll come to me. Anyway, I always say that my Australian followers are from the future because you're like 12 hours ahead of us. You can't be afraid of the future. Anybody, don't be afraid. God does not want you to be afraid, but you do have to take control. Tracy from the future, thank you, Darla. Exactly, Tracy Chrome. Where is she when I need her? We're talking about you, Trace. No, James, I can't cut my hair. I'm a long hair girl, and actually, you're right. It is hot, and it would lighten things up maybe. However, when I do my shows, I have to hide the front part of my body, and no better way to do it than with my hair. I don't like people ogling my body. You know, my front parts are right there. Those bits are out for everybody to see because that's where God put them. And then people will come on my show and say really nasty stuff as if I'm walking around naked, and I don't appreciate that. So I keep my hair long because it's a good cloak, honestly. And in public too. I just, I dress the way I dress. Sometimes I've got cleavage. It's just part of my body. It's just the way it is. And I'm not showing cleavage in order to entice any men. In fact, the opposite is true. I wish that no man would look at me ever and leave me alone because I am not here to turn you on. I'm 60 years old. I don't care. I don't want sex. I don't want a man. I lost my husband almost 4 years ago. I grieve him every day. And I am waiting, and I'm still married and wearing his wedding ring. And I am waiting until I go to meet him in heaven. So that's my man. and my other man is Jesus. And so those are the only two men that I care about. That's right, I'm just being myself. So I'm sorry, but I have to keep my long hair long because that's what I do. I'm not here trying to show off for anyone. Hello, Christine, good to see you. Roller skater understands. Yeah. Yes, we women, you know, the women in Iran wear the burqas, or the Muslim women. They cover up actual clothing, and they do it because their men can't control themselves. So that's the same reason why American women, or women all over the world, we keep our hair long, because we do sometimes hide behind it. And I've been hiding behind my hair my entire life. It is what it is. I don't ever want to cut it. I'm like Samson with my hair. I feel that it is kind of my superpower. I don't know. And I'm good at growing hair, so not everybody is, you know. A lot of women my age, they have to have hair extensions. And they even wear wigs, and I'm not putting them down for that, because your hair is actually your crowning glory. And I am so lucky and blessed that God gave me good hair, and he colored it very nicely. Better than I could ever do. So I'm going to keep the long hair. Makes me want to sing my hair song. I'm sorry, I have to do it. Give me head with hair, long, beautiful hair, shining, gleaming, seeming flax and waxen. Give me diamonds there, hair, shoulder length or longer. Here, baby, there, mama. Everywhere, daddy, daddy, hair, 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 hair. Jim, what makes you think I voted for Kamala Harris? Do I look stupid to you? Show it, grow it, long it starts to flow my hair. I let it fly in the breeze and get caught in the trees. It's a home for the fleas in my hair. A home for fleas, a hive for bees. And as for birds, there ain't no word for the beauty, the splendor, the wonder of my hair, 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 hair. I'm the biggest Trump supporter you'll ever meet, Jim. Hair, 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 blow it, show it, long it starts to grow my hair. I want it long, straight, curly, fuzzy, snaggy, shaggy, ratsy, matsy, oily, greasy, greasy, shiny, gleaming, steaming, flax and wax, and spotted, polka dotted, twisted, beaded, braided, powdered, and confetti, spangled, bangled, tangled, and spaghettied. Oh, say, can you see my eyes? If you can, then my hair's too short, down to here, down to there, down to there, down to where it stops by itself. They'll be gaga at the go-go when they see me in my toga made of long, clean, deep, physical hair. My hair like Jesus wore it, hallelujah, I adore it, hallelujah, Mary loves her son. Why don't my mother love me? Hair, 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 hair. Glow it, show it, long it starts to blow my hair. Your appearance reminds me of my mom, who passed away a week ago today from far away. You just look just like her with long hair. Aw, Ray, I'm so sorry. Shauna's actually from Deerfield Beach. Well, our local Aussie thinks that you are one too, Shauno. I guess you are that cool. Are you randomly singing? my deepest condolences, and I hope that I am channeling your mom for you. I like that. And I'm glad that you feel like you're looking at her again. So now you're gonna have to watch the Beach Report all the time, okay? Mama would want you to do that. Oh, I don't know who's funding anything. Nobody's funding me, though, I'll tell you that much. That's okay, because I don't believe in money, and time is also an illusion. Okay. Now here's something else that we can do as the little people involved in the AI data center. I'm going to call it a scam. I don't know what else it could be. Document the harm. Get noise recordings, get photos, get videos, health complaints, water issues, document it all. I know it sucks, but that's what you have to do. You have to create a simple message like, we are losing our water, our land, and our health to this facility. You have to make it clear. You know, power ignores individuals, and it struggles to ignore organized neighbors. So you cannot just be one person fighting anything. I can be a voice in the desert. You can listen to me, you can ignore me, do whatever you want, but until we all start organizing and showing these companies that we do not want this, they are going to do it no matter what, because they want it. They don't care what we want. Another way that we can fight the data centers is exactly what I'm doing right now. Media attention. Make the harm impossible to ignore. Local reporters who, and I don't know, I don't trust any really, maybe there are some local TV stations that let their reporters actually research and report on stories. And for those, I want you to pitch stories. Those of you who pitch stories, newspaper reporters do, even though I think we're a very dying breed. I mean, I've stopped working for newspaper like 7 years ago. I just couldn't take it anymore. They were always editing my stories. They didn't want me to be too pro-Trump. I would see the internal communications from the editors saying crap about President Trump when he was president the first time. And I thought, I don't really want to work with you people anymore, you newspaper editors who hate the president. That's not a good look. Random says we add O on the end of names. Davo, Stevo, Brado, Damo, Homo, Frito, and Grego. No, Greg doesn't have an O on the end of it. That's funny. So would I be Jillo? Don't call me Jello. Yeah, Australia has sweet waves, but I hear lots of stuff about sharks and horrible spiders, and like, you think there's a lot of bugs in Florida. I hear the bugs and stuff in Australia are even worse. I don't know. Okay, so social media. Now we can all do that. Make short, sharp clips, noise, document it in a video. Just make a reel or something. The trucks, the steam that Random was talking about, the dry wells, dead trees. There you go. Surf on Crocs. Okay. I think that Australians sound like a lot more challenged by nature than even us in Florida. We got our gators and our Crocs. Australia is where the devil keeps his pets. That's a good one. Hang loose. Anyway, if you are going to make a reel or a video about the data center in your backyard, frame it like this. This is not innovation, it is extraction. Extraction of local natural resources, extraction of your peace, your safety is at risk. Because if you live near a data center and you're constantly bombarded by the noise and you are paying for more water that you're not even using, or electricity that you're not even using, and you feel it in your pocketbook and your lifestyle and everything, you have to do something about it. You cannot just let yourself be a victim of this. Oh, women get the why. I'd be Jilly, Billy, Kathy, Silly. Victoria. You're so funny, Randall. You love your word games. So what I'm understanding is that politicians lose cover when people talk about things. Yeah, I've been to Costa Rica, Shano. That is a beautiful country. It's okay. Okay, something else we can do to stop the AI data centers is using laws and regulations. Despite the system being rigged, we can target things like noise ordinances, water rights, environmental impact laws, and zoning and land use rules. They're all out there. You can use them against these companies. You can file complaints for noise, water, traffic, and health. You can push for independent studies that are not funded by the companies that are making the data centers. You also must demand enforcement. If there are rules that exist, it's up to you to insist that they be used. Even if you don't win all of these battles, make it difficult for them. Make it long, make it painful, make it slow, make it cost money for them. Now, data centers are calling themselves green. Like they buy these renewable credits. But we have to expose them for that too. How much actual water are they using? How much actual land do they take up, including the land below? And how much of a local impact are they forcing on residents? You can call it green branding, but it's brown reality. You're right, random. Our animals are so beautiful, but they're misunderstood and not run away from quick enough. Yeah, the animals rule in some places, nothing you can do about that. Another thing that you guys can do to fight the AI is to connect with other communities that are already fighting. Look for towns that are fighting the data centers, the ones that are fighting the pipelines and the mining and the industrial zoning. Find those people and get them on your side. Share their tactics, work with their lawyers, talk to the reporters covering these supposedly, this is a danger. And if you're only talking about carbon or, what is it, climate change, then you're not really talking about the real problem. How old are you? Why don't you tell us how old you are first? What does it matter? Does it matter how old I am? Does it matter what color my skin is? Does it matter if my hair is long or short? I'm just a person. And I'm trying to tell you guys about something very serious. I'm not trying to date you. I don't know you. I don't want to date anybody, okay? I'm just here being myself, doing my thing, and trying to sound an alarm, because if we let data centers use up our water and our land, that is the end of civilization. And it won't take very long. Shawno is absolutely right. Florida has such a fragile ecosystem, and if you plan on moving here, leave your liberal ways behind. That is true. Yeah, Darla. Darla will kick you off too. If she thinks you're trying to date me, you're gone. Not a dating site. Know the heart, no discernment. Exactly. Wisdom and understanding is all of it. Elon Musk wanted to put the AI servers on satellites. Wow. I don't know. Maybe that's the way to go because they're not affecting the earth, or are they? I don't know. Not my Michigan water over my wet body. Now that's the kind of attitude you need to have, Jim. Shawno and Random are creating a bromance. Okay, that's good. I like that. That is one of the things I love the most about my show, The Beach Report, is the fact that you guys start to be friends with each other. 70 says, I have never tried to date you, but I admire and respect you. And I feel the same about you, 70s, and I love it when you come on my show. I love most of the people who come on my show. I don't appreciate the dudes who come on and they're like, well, let's get married. I don't know. I'm guessing that's just a joke, and maybe I need to lighten up. But I think it takes us off topic when we're just talking about the way that people look. It's really not helpful. And if I were very fat, I'm sure you would be telling me that too. Actually, I did have somebody come on just like last week. Just there was only one person talking and they were telling me how fat I am. Okay. I don't know what the reason was for that, but they were like, you gotta lose weight, you super fat, and all this stuff. I'm like, what is happening? It was really weird. Anyway, and Jim and Darla, you guys dance so beautifully. Uh-oh, random got a slash at a couple of trolls. You guys are awesome. All right. Now, scattered resistance, they'll ignore that. But when you link together, they cannot ignore us. The revolution says, sadly, the corporations have always and will always do whatever they want because they have all the money and because we, the people, give them all the money. That's a fact. We have to stop doing that. We have to recognize that corporations, what I like to call the corporatocracy, don't care anything about us. And the way that I can point to that is the data center situation. They don't care. I got a Yowie watching. It's like I got a bulldog here. An Australian bulldog. Thank you. All right. I know that we're staring at something huge, and it's easy to fall into despair when you think, how can we fight these big companies? They've always been doing what they've been doing. Oh, Darla was feeding her dog. She howls when she's hungry. Oh, she's 16. Yes, they do change when they get older. It's true. My dog Muffin was so funny, and she never changed on this one. Whenever she wanted me to feed her, she would start out real low and slow, and she'd look at me, and she'd start whispering to me. She'd go, and like make these noises. I'd be like, are you hungry? And if I didn't feed, and even if I was making her food at the moment, she'd be standing there, and then we'd get into, and then all of a sudden be, feed me now. She would just get louder and louder and louder, even if the dog was right there. Yes, old dogs do teach themselves new tricks. I know, we miss Muffin. My heart is so broken over that one. I know, Jim, you always loved Muffin. I have 2 fur babies. They are my family. They are. They are, and losing them is devastating. And this is the reason why I am now a dog sitter. I don't ever want to own another dog. I can't take the pain. And instead of animals, now I have a grandchild, so I'm going to pour all my love into her. And I get to be a dog sitter, so I can pour my love into these dogs, but I don't have to pour my everything into them, you know? For this week, they're my dogs, and I love them. And I take wonderful care of them. But I know that their people are going to return and I can give them back and I don't have to worry about them anymore. So for the week, I'm always like, you need to stay alive and healthy and happy for this whole week. Then everything will be fine. Every new puppy is a future heartbreak. That's a saying, 70s. You're so right about that. This is why I'm not doing it. Random and his funk. Oh my gosh. Super Crunch. I wish I will age like you, looks wise. The best way to do that, Super Crunch, is to just try to live clean. Don't eat any fast food. I don't even know what fast food is. I have not eaten food from a McDonald's or a Burger King or a Taco Hell. Like, I can't remember the last time. Every now and then someone will try to slip me one of those fast food things. I'm like, no. But you do have to eat clean. Another way that I find that aging it gets better is if you fast. Don't eat every day. Don't do it. Take at least one day in the month if you can. In the week, it's even better. Don't eat. Don't eat for 3 days. And you will reset your gut microbiome. Don't eat Taco Hell. AB, did you realize that the diarrhea, exploding diarrhea parasite is coming from companies that use the same lettuce, and Taco Hell is one of them. 70 says, I got that from the horse people because every new pony is a future heartbreak. It's true. It's true. Such sick people out there. Okay. Well, while you're fighting the data centers, you do have to protect yourself. Because when you look at something like this, it is easy to slide into despair. And when you don't get your way, when the meeting is delayed or the commissioners vote against our best interests, it hurts. And you have to understand that you can't fix the whole world by yourself. I know I've tried. And it will make you depressed and it will upset you. But you do have to refuse to go quietly. We have a really good burger shop from Texas. It's called Five Guys and Fries. We have actually a burger shop called Five Guys, but I didn't know they said fries. I thought it was just called Five Guys. And you're right, those are good. There's another one we have called BurgerFi. Their hamburgers are yum. I have a question. When will they let us eat us? I know, right? Anyway, iceberg lettuce isn't very nutritionally sound to begin with. Again, support your local farmers. You have to. It's so much more important than you even know. Stop shopping at Walmart. Stop shopping even at the grocery stores. You know the water that you see being sprayed on the produce? You do realize that's not water. Greetings, Montenegro. Random. I like what you call it, Taco Hell. Don't eat it. Okay, good. Because it is Taco Hell. So, you know, you're never going to make the corporatocracy care about humanity. Don't even try to do that. The only way to get to them is with the money. That means stop giving them your money. Unplug. Yeah. No more money for them. You have to kind of live in a way that is maybe simpler. Yesterday I taught y'all how to make whipped cream. And then I found out something that was really disturbing about the whipped cream that I was using. I found it impossible to buy whipped cream. Looking at the ingredients on the back, they're putting something guar gum in it, I think it was called. Had some kind of name. It wasn't just cream. It's also heavily pasteurized. You know, pasteurization, it maybe destroys bad things in the milk, but it destroys good things in the milk too. And you know, you can't buy any milk here in America that isn't pasteurized. Louis Pasteur. He really did it to us. If you like Mexican food, it's better to go to a mom and pop shop where grandma is doing the cooking. That is the fact right there. Totally. All right, random, you can't use that language. They've been killing Americans with the bad food for 50 years now. And I actually moved to Switzerland in the 90s, believing that I did not want to raise children in this country that kills people with this food. So that's why my children were born out of the United States. It's okay, random. That's why you got hidden. Was ist German? I'm speaking German. I speak German. Well, I don't speak it really anymore, but when I lived in Switzerland, I spoke Swiss German. So I speak a dialect of German, and I'm not that good at it either. Anyway, yeah, 70s. Yesterday I showed everybody how to make their own whipped cream. But again, I found out that even the organic whipped cream that I just bought still has another ingredient in it that is not cream. and it's very pasteurized, but whatever. It is so much better than buying anything in a can or any of that stuff. It's really, really bad news bears. So make your own whipped cream. And you know, your own whipped cream also can be your own frosting. Just put a little bit more honey in your whipped cream, make it a little sweeter. Voila, you've got frosting. Don't buy anything like that from a store. You can buy whole unpasteurized milk from farmers. I did not know that, 70s. I thought it was actually illegal. Is Seed, I think you are speaking Dutch. Am I right? That doesn't look like German. I mean, I only understand a couple words like Frau and telephone number and bitte. You need to speak English. Oh, that's how you speak in Montenegro. Okay. But we don't understand it, so you need to speak English here. You can speak German, I will understand it, and I will translate for people, but we prefer if you speak English. Yeah, you didn't get to say anything random because I stopped you. No one is allowed to diss AB, by the way. AB is part of my family. So are you, random. So anyway, yeah, you missed that yesterday. Just go look. Yesterday morning, I showed everyone how to make the fresh whipped cream. And even if you're using the whipped cream and it's got that whatever guar gum or whatever the heck it is in it, it's still better for you than buying some whipped topping that doesn't even have cream in it and a bunch of chemicals. And oh, the polysorbate 80, that was in the cream too, in the actual cream. Polysorbate 80. For what reason? I do not know. Anyway, yeah, I love honey as a sweetener. Honey, maple syrup, my go-tos. I try to stay away from processed sugar. They make it sound like cane sugar. Ooh, it came from the sugar cane. I used to live next to a sugar cane field. Nothing clean about that process. I don't know, chilling process. I don't know. This is why I fast a lot. I'd rather have no food than bad food. Okay, now before I go, I did want to go into, this is my thought about AI. I got some notes. You know, when I'm not sure what to do or what's going on, my go-to is the Holy Bible. Yeah, the Yahweh's punishing himself. Okay, so here I found this about 9 Bible verses about artificial intelligence. I'm just going to read this to you. Developing a theology of artificial intelligence is challenging, both because AI itself is moving so quickly and because bringing the ancient world of the scriptures into conversation with our own time requires steady wisdom and fresh insight from the Holy Spirit. Here are some passages that I think can help answer current questions about AI. First, we'll look towards Genesis, the first book of the 5 books of Moses. Then God said, "Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground." So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. That's from Genesis 1:27. Some of the ingredients they put in our food are to increase the weight of the food. Absolutely. They'll do anything. That's what a filler is. When you see fillers, that is to increase weight, substance of it, make it look like there's more than there really is, and maybe poison you. See you later, random. Keep it real on the back wheel. So, since Augustine's time, theologians have tended to connect the image with the ability of the human mind and or soul to reason. More recently, the concept of the image of God has been expanded, and it is often described in three categories: substantive, human nature and ability, often reason; functional, humans as representative rulers and stewards of creation; and relational, humans in a unique relationship with God and each other. A simplified alteration of this is capacity, calling, and community. Interesting creations, especially AI, they challenge all three categories. Even before today's AI, computers were often able to handle reasoning tasks much better than humans, from basic math, calculators, to winning at chess, which is substantive. Today, AI models are also able to do complex tasks, which means that theoretically, they could manage the garden more efficiently than humans ever have, which makes them functional. Humans are also forming relationships with chatbots and robots, again, challenging an aspect of the image, relational, with and making our goal, which should be to encourage people to fully embrace the image, not accidentally ceding to our creations. God's likeness versus godlikeness. This is from Genesis 3:4-5. Y'all will certainly not die, the serpent said to the woman, for God knows that when y'all eat from it, y'all's eyes will be opened, and y'all will be like God, knowing good and evil. In the story of humanity's fall, the serpent tempts Eve with a promise that should seem rather hollow. Why would creatures made in the image and likeness of God want to become like God? The offer is familiar enough to sound almost right, making its distortion into something sinister, subtle, and deceptive. We cannot fault the first couple for thinking that this sounded at once like something God would want, and yet also God was holding them back. He said, vote for Trump. Yes, vote for Trump. Today, our desires are warped. Humans seem to perpetually desire to move but beyond being in God's likeness and to find something that will give us God-like levels of knowledge and power. In the age of AI, this desire has grown into an aspiration to completely transcend our human limitations, not merely restoring what we've lost or accelerating our work, but shifting into the transhumanist desire to claim agency over human nature. As we evaluate tools and their usage, we must keep this temptation before us. Injustice at scale. This is from Leviticus 19:6. Use honest scales and honest weights, an honest ephah and an honest hin. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt. We often read scripture as if its focus is solely on the morality of an action and the heart behind it. But this command goes beyond an action itself, cheating, and tells us that there is a relationship between our ethics and our creations. In fact, this relationship is so important that this command is repeated across the Hebrew scriptures, appearing in the Pentateuch, Leviticus 19:6, Deuteronomy 25, and in wisdom literature like Proverbs 11, and in the prophets, Micah 6. First, the passage shows us that tools and technology are always value-laden. This means that by its design, a tool points its user in a particular direction, even if the user is unaware of its subtle push. Second, this command shows that the scriptures are not solely focused on individual morality and tools used in one-on-one interactions. like swords, for instance. Instead, the biblical witness is also rightly concerned with tools designed to affect large groups of people, like a dishonest scale that could cheat an entire village. In the digital world, we speak of systems that scale and how such systems can cheat an entire country, affect elections, birth rate, suicide, truth, and so on. In the age of AI, this ethical injunction is an important reminder that God cares about our actions and our tool creation. It's kind of like free healthcare, but you have to pay for part of it sometimes when you're on Medicare. Oh, free healthcare. Yeah. I have free healthcare. I don't pay anything. I don't have any insurance, and I don't go to the doctor. So my health care is free. I don't use any kind of government social programs. I'm not spending anybody's money. I'm not spending my own money on my health other than to feed myself with organic food, to not eat sometimes. And you save a lot of money when you don't eat. A lot of money. It costs a lot of money to feed yourself. I don't have Medicare, I don't have Medicaid, I don't use any of that stuff. People get kind of upset with me sometimes when I tell them that. Like, they're so afraid that I, by myself, will somehow break the system. I don't trust big medical industries. I don't trust hospitals. I don't trust doctors. I never got any kind of those, I don't know if we can even say the words. We couldn't for a long time, as you know. I don't do any of that. The way that I stay healthy is I put myself in the sun. And some people will say that my skin looks like leather, and I don't care. I love the sun. I download the sun. I believe it gives me energy. I also breathe in clean air. If the air is bad, I leave. I don't eat fast food. And like I said, sometimes I don't eat at all. That saves me money. It's also, I think, good for my gut microbiome because, again, if you don't eat for 3 days, you reset your gut microbiome, which is a really good thing for you. Also, people are always talking about buying stem cells and spending all this money. You make your own stem cells. Thank you, Charles. And if you like the way I look, then you have to realize that I'm a natural person. I'm not wearing makeup. I have a little lipstick on. You can call that makeup if you want. That's fine. But I don't put any colors on my face. I don't wear any kind of artificial anything on my body. I've stopped wearing perfume. The best thing I do is if I feel sweaty, I slap on some baking soda to absorb the wetness and move on right along. So, Red Hawk, if you think I'm smug, that's just because you're jealous. People don't like it when other people tell them how to live. People don't like it when they say, don't eat fast food. Don't run to the doctor for every little thing that's wrong with you. Try to eat food as medicine, and try to not eat food also as medicine. That's right. The sun gives us vitamin D. It's more than essential. Could it be more than essential? I don't know. It's so important, but it is one of the reasons why I think I'm healthy at 60, because of the sun. God wants us to take care of his temple, which is our body. Thank you, AB. And I do treat my body as a temple. I pray. I eat the food that God wants me to eat. I don't eat the food when God says, don't eat food right now. Pray and fast. Fasting and prayer, I think those are my superpowers, and I just love it. And there are times, though, when I'm not fasting and I find myself going into like a gluttony situation. I just want to eat all the food. That really happened when my granddaughter was being born. I felt like I was eating for two. It was a little bit crazy. But you know, I go up and down in my weight. I always have. I've had an eating disorder since I was a child. My mother who raised me, well, she was not my biological mother, but her weight problems affected me. She was a very large woman. She was tall, she was big, she was beautiful, but she and I were very, very different body types. And she made me feel as if getting fat was the worst thing that could ever happen to me, which actually gave me an eating disorder. And so I'm fighting it constantly, but I've learned to just kind of try to relax in it. I eat the food when the food is there and it seems to be healthy, and I don't eat it if it's not. I don't know what anyone would say negative about your skin tone. I think you look glowingly good. Thank you, 70s. Well, as you've seen on this show, the people who want me to feel badly about myself will come on and say absolutely horrible things about the way I look, as if I care. I don't care. When you fast, it's good for the body and the mind. It has so many benefits that you can't even see. And again, you want to talk about stem cells? You want to produce your own stem cells? Stop eating. You'll produce your own stem cells. And I do think this is the reason why I am healthy. I don't rely on any big pharma drugs whatsoever. I've got my med card, and sometimes you need a little relaxation. So that's what I do. It hasn't hurt me. I feel that my skin is healthy. I don't have any noticeable outbreaks or rashes or blemishes. You know, you can tell how healthy you are by the state of your skin, and the state of your teeth is another indication. And I do have teeth problems, and I'm working with the dentist on that. You can see I lost this one over here. I lost two down here because I grind my teeth. That's a matter of stress. Walmart in a box is the food that will put you in a box. Jim knows that's so true. But even though food is medicine, not eating food is medicine too. I went on a 7-day fast like 6 months ago, which I believe you should do every year. And when I did my 7-day fast, people were getting very angry with me. I know you're not supposed to talk about fasting when you're fasting. I do it because it's my job and I'm a journalist and I want to know. So I appreciate it when people do talk about their fast because I want to know more about it. I think it is so very important to not eat. Just as important as what you eat is what you don't eat. So I think it's crucial. And when I was fasting, I would have gone longer than 7 days, but people were just freaking out at me and telling me I was going to have a heart attack. I was going to drop over. I was going to die. Do I look like I'm dead a year after my 7-day fast? I feel pretty good. Do I have pains every now and then? Yeah, sometimes my back hurts. Sometimes I think it's because I ate the wrong food. You know, I'm human and I can be tempted into anything chocolate. But at the same time, you do need to use prayer to calm yourself down. Food it's just temporary, and it depends on what you eat. Okay, the ethical responsibility of makers. This is from Deuteronomy 22. I'm not into tarot cards. I'm into the Bible, okay? I don't need the occult. I give a crap about somebody who thinks they can tell the future. I make my own future. When you build a new house, make a parapet around your roof so that you may not bring the guilt of bloodshed on your house if someone falls from the roof. That's from Deuteronomy 22. Today's homes typically have a pitched roof, but homes in the ancient world were more box-like with flat roofs. The rooftop would be used as another story, often for sleeping during the heat of the summer. Here in Deuteronomy, the Israelite building code says that a builder must make a short railing or border wall, which is a parapet in architectural terms, to ensure safety for those on the roof, especially people who roll around in their sleep. You can actually survive without food for more than 3 weeks, and you can even survive without water for more than 3 days. I have not done no water for 3 days, but every Jew goes without water or food for 24 hours on the high holy day of Yom Kippur. That is a dry fast. God demands that you don't eat or drink anything. In fact, you can't even touch water because your skin absorbs everything. So you have to stay away from water for 24 hours. Believe me, it's not easy to do, but God demands it of you at least once a year. And there are other times in the Bible where fasting is required. And the fasts that God requires are dry fasts. No food, no water. Can we survive without Jill for 7 days? Hopefully Trucker Tom will not have to find that out. Because if I'm doing a fast for 7 days, I'm going to be on and I'm going to tell you about it. You don't always need, I'm telling you, your body makes its own water. If you don't have any water, even for 24 hours, your body actually goes through and makes its own water. It's true. The body is so much more amazing than you even know. I'm not telling you all to go without water, but I am telling you that it is more than possible. It's a reality. It's a fact. You think you need all these things that you don't need them all the time. And we talked about the breatharians yesterday, people who actually believe they don't need food or water. I don't know how true it is that they go without food or water for long times, but I wouldn't doubt anything. All right, we're talking about the houses now. So the command by the Lord is not framed as if you have to build, but when you build, which assumes and encourages us to build things for human flourishing and cultivating God's amazing world. At the same time, we can draw a general principle that makers have an ethical responsibility to think through the moral and immoral uses of their creations, as well as unintentional consequences and accidental uses of them. To the best of our ability, we should strive to build in safety systems that prevent harm. This is especially true of the AI systems that we are finding to be both powerful but also unpredictable. Now, in Isaiah, we are warned of alluring idols. With whom then will you compare God? To what image will you liken him? That's from Isaiah 40:18. Fashions a god and worships it. He makes an idol and bows down to it. That's in Isaiah 44:15. He prays to it and says, "Save me, you are my God." Isaiah 44. They know nothing, they understand nothing, and their minds closed, so they cannot understand. Isaiah 44:18. Yes, you do need the water when it's very hot. I'm not saying you don't, but I'm also pointing out how strong and resilient we as humans really are, and the things they tell us that we have to have, it's not always true. The first half of Isaiah contains warnings of coming judgment, like Isaiah 1-35, and depicts the judgment that comes on Hezekiah 36-39. Chapter 40 shifts directions and begins to project hope in a coming Messiah, who might just be divine, interwoven with extended reflections on idolatry and images. Isaiah repeatedly contrasts God's transcendence, power, and goodness with the weak, small, handmade idols that Israel has turned to. He goes on to say, if I were to paraphrase, you take a block of wood and use half for fire and half for an idol. Doesn't anyone see how crazy that is? This is kind of like reversing the image of God. We were created to worship God and make things, but there is an ongoing temptation to worship things and remake God. With our ever-present phones, we use the same glowing screen to consume worthless content or the words of God. The wooden blocks of our ancestors could likewise be used for a number of purposes. In the age of AI, it can be tempting to see these statistical models as having true wisdom, but we must remember that they are mere blocks of silicon. They are useful tools, to be sure, but they also have the potential to become alluring idols, perhaps more than any of our other previous creations. And you see that very clearly with people actually having romantic relationships with AI. People even losing their lives because they thought that they were talking to a friend and it was really just a robot that didn't care at all about them. Oh, if you drink demineralized water, you'll end up with a vitamin deficiency. And that's a really good point, Random, because if you drink water that doesn't have any benefit and anything good in it, then it's not helping you. Your water needs to be nourishing. And what was that Jesus said? The water he offers will always be nourishing and you will never be thirsty again. The thirst for knowledge. All right, I'll do one more and then I got to get to work myself because I am working on a couple of books this week, well, next week till they're done. Humans' growth and becoming. This is from Luke 2:52. And Jesus grew in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man. This passage shows that even Jesus himself, the one who is both fully God and fully human, needed to grow. We know intuitively that humans grow physically, and Luke makes it clear that Jesus follows this normal process himself. But Luke is also reminding us that it's normal for a human to grow in wisdom. Yes, the living water, exactly. No one, not even God, man, can immediately do everything. By submitting himself to human weakness, Jesus needs to ask questions to gain understanding. What must it have been like to see this child learning through play, experimentation, and what we might normally call trial and error, yet apart from the kind of moral error that we are accustomed to? As a wonderful and exciting AI journey, those tools, wow, we think they're so interesting. However, they present the opportunity to avoid this kind of growth in our own development. Today, we can generate wise-sounding words without growing in wisdom, just as we can look up the length of a marathon without being a runner. Becoming a runner, like becoming wise, requires sustained effort over time. This is what it means to be fully human. Thankfully, Jesus modeled this for us. And as we seek to become like him, we too must embrace our human limitations and need to grow. And I want to stop there, but I do want to point out that you might notice people who are using the AI to write for them, to send emails, to make posts for Facebook, whatever, you're dumbing yourself down. And it's one thing to be an adult and to not be using your smarts to create things that other people will read and just letting the AI do it. But if you are a child or a teenager, you are actually hurting yourself. And you're making your own brain shrink. And that's a real thing that if you don't use it, you will lose it. That's it. Anyway, I want to help you guys out. We need to live in this world. And we can't do it with these corporatocracies, all this technology that is literally draining us of energy, of focus, and of wisdom. You get wisdom by living. You get wisdom by learning. And you can only learn by trial and error. Thank you, Darla. We'll open your big can of worms next time, Random. As always, it was a pleasure spending this morning with you, and we'll see you later on the next Beach Report. Ciao for now.